Terry Labonte came into this race fourth in the point standings, 123 behind Davey Allison, and would like very much to have a good showing so he can move up. He is currently in 7th position, and John Kernan has a report.
You got that right, Bobby. He's got an amazing string going. Terry's the only driver to finish in the top 10 in all 7 races so far this year. At first, we thought he radioed in. He thought he may have lost a cylinder. The car is just slowing down. But as he drove by, the crew listened. It doesn't have that familiar sound when you're only running on 7 cylinders. Then he thought it could be the battery is going dead. But now he says he's checked out the battery with the gauges. The battery is fine. It just seems the car just keeps slowing and slowing. Terry is very perplexed. He says he has no idea what the problem might be. So they're just going to have to ride it out.
Well, at one point about 50 laps ago, as he was in the top 10, he stood a chance of gaining some real ground in the Winston Cup points because he was only 10 behind Bill Elliott coming into this race, 1,023 to 1,013. But look, all of these guys, Allison, Gant, Elliott, Labonte, and Kawicki, have had their problems and are not among those contending for the lead this afternoon. The guy who is in the lead is Ernie Irvan, whose best 1992 finish has been an 11th at Rockingham. Back with more of the Haynes 500 after this.
When do we give in to the storm? I believe economic development is our stronghold. With it, we can improve our workforce. We can wipe out crime. We can revitalize housing. We can attract business and revenue. We can make Newport News a better place to live and prosper. There's a wind blowing in Newport News. It's a wind of change, and it's going to be a hurricane by the time I'm through.
Vote for change. Marcellus Harris for City Council on May 5th.
I love the wild stuff they do.
The classics, I like the new stuff, I like the 20-song music marathons.
20-song music marathons.
20 in a row, nobody plays that much music.
I've been listening to NOR for 15 years. It's the only station to listen to.
Tommy and the Bull are the best, the greatest, super, sexy.
At Hercules Fence, we've been building quality, custom-made fences and decks since 1955. We're Tidewater's largest because we offer the best prices for the best quality. Quality like this: French Gothic picket, ornamental fencing, custom decks and benches. We buy all our materials by the truckload to save you money, and we stand behind all our products with a full warranty. So when you need a fence, call Hercules.
But there goes Dale by, new leader.
Yeah, I think Irvan had slowed a little bit because not long ago he was about to lap Dick Trickle, and Trickle has moved on out about 2.5 to 3 seconds in front of him.
Well, the fans here on the main straightaway have their hands in the air cheering for Dale Earnhardt, who has the lead from Ernie Irvan once again. And there is Dick Trickle, or rather Mark Martin, running a very close third.
He's just been sitting there watching those two as they do battle up there. He hasn't gotten too far behind since they last stopped.
On the roof cam on Martin's Valvoline Ford.
We'll see how many 114 miles an hour he's running as fast now as he has any time this afternoon.
That engine is still turning as many RPMs as it has all afternoon.
We're looking at the cars from a top Mark Martin's car.
Jerry Punch, what have you learned about Ernie Irvan?
Well, like you, Bobby, we're all speculating there may be something wrong with the car, maybe even a brake problem or something in the rear end, but they've denied all those questions. They said basically they told Ernie just to remain calm, take it easy. They don't plan on pitting until about 40 laps to go in this thing, so they've got at least 100 more laps on these tires. So just stay calm. We're there. We got a good race car. Let Earnhardt go. We'll run our race, and when push comes to shove with 40 laps to go, we'll put fresh rubber on and go after them.
Well, that's interesting strategy. Yeah, we do have several laps to go in this race, about 133 to be exact, but still.
But with just 40 laps to go, if they're going to start with just 40 laps to go, I mean, one can of gas with one, you don't even have to have a whole can of gas to do that. So I think a guy Ernie almost spun. He's off the pace.
He has. He's lost second position of Mark Martin.
He's ripped a flange plate or something.
He's coming in. Irvin is coming in. Jerry, he's headed toward you.
While the car comes down to the crew are very surprised. They have not been able to, and apparently he is trying to take off. They are going to push the car. He tried to put the car in gear and take off, and the wheels just spun and the car did not move. Now they are going to take the car behind the wall, so the crew, just about as surprised as we were to see Ernie Irvin suddenly slow and come behind the wall. So once again, speculation has to be that maybe something in the rear gearing, an axle problem, maybe a drive, like we saw with Alan Kowicki, could be a problem.
Gentlemen, having the lead is not the place to be today. We've seen Alan Kowicki leading and having problems, and now Ernie Irvin right there. Something happens.
Yeah, he lost one of his rear axles, and that's what caused the car to steer with the rear end like that way. He immediately backs off the gas, and that keeps the car going straight, but Martin went by on the outside and take away second spot.
Well, he didn't have the problem while he was leading, but he certainly led many, many laps, and now he, too, is behind the wall. So now we have a battle between Ford and Chevy up front. It is Chevrolet leading with Ford and Mark Martin running second.
Earnhardt, the outside pole sitter, is now taking the lead.
Benny, you mentioned earlier about the caster that they're building into the rear ends of these cars. I'd never heard of that until just recently this year. And with the problems we had seen earlier in the year, I think Brett Bodine had some problems at Richmond. And now here today, we've seen a couple of cars. Not saying that that's exactly what happened to these cars, but it certainly indicates that that's what has went wrong. I'm sure that a lot of them are going to take a second look at that concept.
We'll be announcing the winner of the Gillette Halfway Challenge during our Talladega telecast next Sunday. Entries now being accepted for the next race. You call 1-900-436-7000. It'll cost you 95 cents should you have to be 18, or you can send your name and address and telephone number to the Gillette Halfway Challenge, Post Office Box 1868, South Hackensack, New Jersey 07606.
And the 55 car, Ted Musgrave, is slowed, and it's almost like he has the same problem, the way the car's reacting like he has an axle shaft problem or some type of problem. Well, some of our spotters have told us that the right rear brake line is broken on the car, and the car has no brakes, so
that makes sense.
Yeah, that's why I would be going slow too, Ted.
I'd be going a lot slower than that if I were Musgrave. Now he's coming in on the backstretch.
Let's see if he can stop. I guess he's going behind the wall. I hope he can stop.
Well, let's hope so.
If somebody walks out in his way, he will.
Well, they have to kind of grab the car and stop it, but everything's okay back there. We'll jack it up and take a look at it. Earnhardt leading at Martinsville. He has 5 victories on this racetrack. Most recent was this event last year. He's the defending champion.
Now he is putting a lap on Terry Labonte. Labonte now has dropped back to the, 7th position, still running 7th?
Still running 7th, but now a lap down. So only 6 cars now in the lead lap.
Take a look again at our outer light field summary. We run down the entire field and who's still in and who's still out.
We're about equal with it, pretty equal.
There's some radio communication with someone bleeding through on our equipment.
They were about equal. Sort of sounded like Mark Martin.
It did sound like Steve Neal and talking to Mark Martin. Trying to keep Mark's hopes up that he too could catch that 3 car and take the lead here this afternoon.
Well, they still have one more pit stop to make.
And there again, how are they going to play the strategy? Is someone going to stop early? There's Dick Trickle off the pace. Now, as he lost it, it looks like he's lost an axle flange or something.
All of a sudden,
see, watch him go up there and almost run poor old Dave Marcus.
And Labonte. Very slow down the front straightaway. You know, you guys talked in the opening part of the show about how technology has caught up with Martinsville. And we've seen a lot of mechanical problems, it seems like, here this afternoon.
And of an unusual manner, too. And the technology that is letting some of these cars handle better with the camera that they're building into the rear axle housing might be coming to catch up with them here.
I think the rough racetrack, you know, this concrete down the bottom and how bumpy it is down there, I think that would be tough on these axle shafts. Here's Davey and Darrell.
They're not on the lead lap, but they are battling.
Some of our spotters have told us that's exactly what happened to the 8 car with axle housing problem. Drive plate, axle shaft, whatever.
This is the battle for 7th position, and Jerry has an update on Ernie Irvan.
Unfortunately, gentlemen, the speculation was indeed correct. It was the exact same problem that Alan Kwiatkowski had. The drive plate in the right rear of the Kodak Chevrolet of Ernie Irvan had been chewed away. They have pulled the axle out. They are working on the car, but it will cost him a lot of valuable time here in the pits and certainly a shot at victory.
I started to say a moment ago, how they're going to play the strategy now. Just, you know, 116 laps to go. Is someone going to stop early, change 4 tires? Or are they going to run long and just put in a little bit of gasoline?
I would believe they would run long.
I think so, too.
You can't afford to stop under the green here. If you do, you're going to lose a couple of laps. And I think you got to stay out there as long as you possibly can.
He is about to lap the 5th place car of Ken Schrader.
And Davey Allison, the points leader, is in the wall coming off turn 2. Some heavy damage to the Avalon Ford.
He went in there big time and is up against the outside wall coming off of the 2nd corner and bringing out caution number 9.
And Schrader is trying desperately to stay in the lead lap. And Schrader almost wins it.
But Earnhardt beats him back to the line.
He also beat Rudd back to the line, put both of them a lap down.
Now we'll see if Davey Allison is okay. He seems to be moving around in there.
Schrader didn't like that situation with Earnhardt at all. There is Davey Allison as we see him go into the wall. Apparently, I don't know if he cut a tire down or had one to go down or what happened, Bob, but I think the tire's flat now, but whether it's flat before he went into the tire, don't know, but he's hit it hard.
There is.
And Davey Allison's ribs are still hurting from that blow at Bristol, so he didn't need to hit that wall coming up the 2nd corner. Jerry punches down in the Earnhardt pit. Jerry.
While the crew waiting for Dale Earnhardt to come down for his service, just 113 laps remaining here in the Haynes 500. The 6th on the bottom of your screen, that is Mark Martin, of course, the Valvoline Ford. Top of your screen, our previous leader, Dale Earnhardt, the Goodrich Chevrolet. Right side tires going on the Earnhardt car. They're already down to the left side. The jack by David Smith. Kirk Shelburne in the left front tire. Left rear tire going on. Likewise, Martin left side tires. Earnhardt is down and away. Martin still on the jack, and we watch for Mark Martin to come off the jack and begin to move down pit road. And here he comes, headed back to turn 1.
Being very careful not to violate the 35-mile-an-hour speed limit down pit road. As soon as they cross that stripe there at the end of pit road, that they can begin to accelerate.
Here's what Ned was talking about a little bit ago, but Schrader telling Earnhardt, hey, man, why don't you let me have that lap back?
Under our 9th caution because of a crash in turn number 2 involving Davey Allison. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
It was 8 o'clock in there, right? Yeah. My truck wouldn't start. And the lights worked, but the engine wouldn't turn over. So I figured it must be the starter, right? Well, I went to AutoZone. They said, let's test it. Turns out it was okay. So we tested my battery and found that it just didn't have enough juice to crank it. Now get this. I didn't have to spend a dime, because they even charged my battery for free. Get out of here. That kind of service? Hey, you just can't beat it.
ESPN's America's Cup 92. Dennis Conner launched a surprising comeback, but Bill Koch has his sights set on defending the Cup. Plus the battle of the red boats. New Zealand against Italy for the right to be called the Challenger. The America's Cup, the Defender, and the Challenger finals tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock Eastern, live on ESPN.
Getting set to go back to green once again after an accident involving Davey Allison. By the way, he got out of the car under his own power and has walked into the infield care center being checked over. I'm sure Dr. Punch will have an update on Davey Allison when it becomes available. In the meanwhile, here's the green flag, and we resume competition with Earnhardt out front, followed by Martin, Fred Bodine, Sterling Marlin, and Terry Labonte.
That's exactly how the race started. Darrell Waltrip on the inside, Earnhardt on the outside. But now we're 400 laps into the race, and Darrell Waltrip is a lap down to the 3 car, trying desperately to get it back.
Darrell is currently being shown in the 5th position. He's the last car. Now, the first car is the lap down, I should say this. And as you mentioned, 4 cars in the lead lap.
Yeah, Terry Labonte is also locked down.
Yeah.
So Darrell slipped. Earnhardt gets in front, and Martin drives up on the outside of Darrell Waltrip. He's a second-place car. The blue and white car in the back behind the tree. He's the second-place car. Darrell lets him go. Unless he's got, he's going to let. Well, I think he's going to let him go and settle this thing.
Yeah, I think he gave it his shot and said, hey, I can't get back in the lead lap, so I'll just let him go and ride here. We're still running in the top 5. Maybe something will happen to somebody else at this.
And we just saw Sterling Marlin at the top of the screen. He has taken over the 3rd-place spot from Brett Bodine. So we got Chevrolet, Ford. But
Chevrolet leading.
And that is the spot to count more than anything.
As we saw as he raced back to the caution flag just a few laps ago, Dale can, shall we say, protect his position with the best of them.
Well, he certainly can. And, you know, we saw earlier in the year, I think it was at Daytona in the 500, that some of the Ford drivers worked together and let, I think Davey Allison let Jeff Bodine get back in the lead lap when a caution came out. Here's a battle between Sterling Marlin and Brett Bodine.
Something's wrong with Sterling Marlin's car. He just moved over down the back straightaway. Brett Bodine pulled up on the outside of him. Now he might have it going again.
Anyway, they're doing some good racing. While they do that racing, let me finish the story about the Fords working with each other to try to help. Now Sterling gets that position back, trying to help each other, but Earnhardt had an opportunity to let a Chevrolet stay in the lead lap, but chose not to do it. Now he's in the lead lap with 3 other Fords.
Here is the completion of lap number 400. 100 laps to go. Ram field summary for you.
This is a race for 3rd spot. The blue car, 22, Sterling Marlin, Maxwell House Ford. He's 3rd, 4th-place car. The Quaker State Ford of Brett Bodine. Meanwhile, Earnhardt is the leader, and Martin is 2nd.
Only those 4 cars on the lead lap.
Sterling Marlin's car seems to really slow right in the center of the corner, but then he gets good traction off the corner. You see Darrell Waltrip is staying right there with Martin. Earnhardt not that far ahead. Darrell might see an opportunity here in the distance and say, hey, let me pick the pace up a little bit. I might be able to pass these guys and get back in the lead lap.
I saw a record going down the back straightaway as the race was going on. Martin has got a good car this afternoon. It doesn't appear he's quite as good as Earnhardt.
Martin finished 3rd at Darlington this year. That's been his best finish of the year. Only 2 top 10 finishes for Mark this year. His other one was at Rockingham when he came home in 6th position. But it is Earnhardt that's leading the Haynes 500.
Suzuki GS 500E. It hustles and still leaves cash in your pocket.
There aren't any fax machines or PCs to help you at this job. And your career path is largely determined by the mood of your horse. So why would anyone choose to work up here in the mountains? Maybe it's the fringe benefits.
Oil. It's the lifeblood of your engine. That makes your oil filter your engine's most vital organ. That's why Fram keeps going the extra mile to make the best protection even better. The Fram Extra Guard oil filter. Unique glass fiber paper stops more dirt than any other filter for the best protection ever. Fram Extra Guard. American or import, it's an extra lease on life.
We got it, we got it, we got it, we got it. You got it, you got it, you got it, you got it. We got it, we got it.
If you've got to have it, there's no better time to get it.
We got it, we got it, we got it. You got it, you got it, you got it.
The Suzuki We've Got It flexible financing. Come and get it.
Dale Earnhardt is leading the Haynes 500 NASCAR Winston Cup race. Stop number 8 on the circuit for 1992 at Martinsville Speedway in Virginia. Earnhardt is leading in the GM Goodrich Chevrolet, looking for his first victory of the 1992 season. And Mark Martin is running in second position.
The 4-car, Ernie Irvin, is not in third place. He is several laps down. He's got a good race car, but he has some mechanical problems. Had to spend 30, 40 laps in the pits curing those problems. He's back, trying to complete some more laps. And if he can stay out there, he is going to gain some points on Davey Allison. Say Bobby Allison. Davey Allison in NASCAR Winston Cup point with a crashed hard. What was that, 30, 40 laps ago, Ned? Yep. He is out of the race. I don't think they can fix that car. So these fellas can run more laps than David. They'll finish in front of him and gain more points.
Because Ernie is pretty far down in the points, but he's having another problem right now. Ernie Irvin, as we talk about him, slows going into turn 3 one more time. But yes, practically everybody in the field is going to gain on Davey Allison today.
Yep. Allison crashed out of this race a few laps ago, made heavy contact with the wall coming out of turn number 2 onto the backstretch. After he got out of the infield care center, John Kernan talking with him.
Well, we caught up with Davey Allison, who's just been checked out at the infield care center. First of all, Davey, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine, John. I just re-bruised my ribs a little bit, but everything's okay. You know, I felt the right front tire starting to get a little soft, so I backed off and let Darrell go, and it just let go all at once with no warning.
That's Davey Allison, who's a little bit sore, but he appears to be fine, Bob.
Davey out of the infield care center and okay after a crash that has eliminated him from the Haynes 500. Well, Waltrip is still trying to get that lap back. He's within a car length or so of Dale Earnhardt. Well, he looks inside of Dale.
Yeah, he's been working on him, looking for every opportunity.
Earnhardt's got an awfully good race car. I'd be surprised if anybody's going to pass him in the next 30, 40 laps, because his car is good. Maybe not as good this afternoon as Alan Kowicki's or Ernie Irvin's, but those fellas had problems. Earnhardt hasn't had any problems.
Martin continues to run in second, carrying the Ford banner at this point. Will their streak end at 11 consecutive NASCAR Winston Cup races dating back to Charlotte of last year? It appears as if it might come to an end this afternoon. But there are a couple of other Fords that are right there to step in if something happens to Earnhardt, namely Sterling Marlin in 22 and Brett Bodine in the 26.
Here's Waltrip once again trying to get by the 3-car, trying to get that lap back. He's trying to keep throwing the bottom of the racetrack. Earnhardt's letting the car go up, running the high groove, trying to take it easy on the brakes, easy on the tires.
Evidently, it's getting a little slick down on that bottom side. Big bunch of cars been running down there all afternoon, and it's hard to get traction coming off the turns, especially after your tires get heated up. But Waltrip is certainly giving it the old American try.
I think this is what Mark Martin wanted. I think he wanted Darrell Waltrip to get up there and race Earnhardt as hard as he could and try to let Earnhardt get those tires slippery, start going away a little bit, because he wants to gain. There he is. He's gaining. He's closing up on Earnhardt just a little bit.
Earnhardt is getting such good traction coming off the turn, but he is just gaining maybe 6 inches a lap or maybe a little more.
And that is the view that Mark Martin has, saying, yeah, I like this.
Yeah, he does like that. Those guys up there racing with each other.
I thought Darrell was going to get it, but not yet. They're still side by side as they go into turn number 1.
And Mark Martin closes it right on the back bumper.
Now they're coming up on some other traffic up there. Let's see what that's going to do for them as they run side by side. That might work to Earnhardt's advantage.
Jimmy Hensley is just ahead in the 66 car, and so is Greg Sachs. Hensley Hensley pulls to the inside and allows both of them to go by.
That was a nice move by him. They just let those guys go on. That's why they call him the Virginia Giant.
For those of you who are just joining us, he too is many laps down. We're talking about the 66 car by Jimmy Hensley.
That's the camera from inside Jimmy Hensley's Phillips 66 car as he looks at the front three cars.
60's running 16th.
He's 12 laps down.
Boy, Walter has worked so hard that he's so nice. Yeah, I don't think he's touched Earnhardt yet. They've been running side by side for what, about 5 or 6 laps?
But indeed, Mark Martin has closed in on both of them. Perhaps his strategy was just as Vinny said. Let Darrell get up there and race with Earnhardt so he can wear the tires out. Martin will be right there to step into the first place. The car still turning high 80s in RPM category.
About 8,500 that time. So he's getting it all he's got. And Darrell Waltrip's getting it all he's got.
He just about has him now. He's worked it up to where he's got a half a car length lead on Earnhardt now going into turn 1. He wants to get up there before he gets to Greg Sachs so that Earnhardt can't box him in behind Sachs, but that's exactly what Earnhardt wants to do, is box him in behind the car number 41.
And I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah. Nope.
Sachs moves up in front of Earnhardt.
And this is going to allow Darrell to definitely get his lap back. How about that? But Earnhardt says, okay, in that case, I'll try to put you down another lap. Well, there are 59 laps to go in this race, and it's still anybody's. Earnhardt, Martin, and others. We'll be right back.
Professional service, a friendly face. That's your Big A Pro.
Big A, the sign that keeps your car running right.
The time has come for the cordless power roller from Wagner. It's so quick and easy, it can cut painting time in half. So get your hands on a real value, because the value of Wagner keeps on rolling.
Shoot out of my bedroom window?
No.
Can I grow a mustache?
No.
Can we go shark fishing?
No.
How about we...
No.
Dad, can I have a pet monkey?
No.
Oh, darn. Beekeeping!
No.
Dad?
What?
Can we go to McDonald's?
Yes. Yes, we can.
Can I drive?
No.
Oh. Thank you, Doctor.
I'm not a real doctor, but if I were, I'd recommend ligament for occasional muscle pain.
Still going. Nothing outlasts the Energizer. They keep going and going.
Back at Martinsville Speedway in Virginia, it is still a battle between Darrell Waltrip and Dale Earnhardt. Now, this isn't for the lead. This is Earnhardt trying to put Waltrip a lap down. Darrell got it back a few laps ago, but Earnhardt, once again, is right alongside Darrell.
And it's just reversed. The last time we saw them, Earnhardt was on the outside and Waltrip on the inside. Now they've switched. They've got Darrell on the outside, Earnhardt on the inside. Dale's getting a great jump on the outside, a good bite. Darrell's getting a pretty good bite out there as well. Pulls up alongside of Dale. And now Earnhardt has him a lap down again.
Yep. Now that battle between Earnhardt and Darrell Waltrip, what effect did it have? Well, take a look at a Big A Auto Parts on-track interval. We timed 5 consecutive laps, 4:33 through 4:37, and the interval between Earnhardt and Martin, you can see it was exactly reduced by half. There was 1 second interval between them on lap 4:33, and on 4:37, Martin had reduced the interval to 1/2 second. And Jerry Punch has a comment on Dale Earnhardt.
Gentlemen, it's a little bit of food for thought. We've seen some drive shaft plate problems in some of the cars, in fact 4 or 5 cars. And one of the reasons we've seen it, one I'm being told out here, is they're running a lot of camber in the rear end, about 2.5 degrees. Now, according to some of the stats that we've been able to collect up and down pit road, there were about 6 cars who began the day with 2.5 degrees of camber in the rear end. Of those 6, 4 have already had problems. The 2 that have not had problems thus far but still had that much camber, the 3 car and the 26.
Another Fram field summary for you. Mark Martin has successfully passed Darrell Waltrip and put him a lap down. Here comes, there was third place Sterling Marlin. There's Derek Cope in the 10 car. There's Marlin.
So Sterling Marlin gained a great deal on that ballot as well. He's pulled away from Brett Bodine and now just 34 seconds behind Mark Martin.
In fact, Benny is 3 seconds exactly. You can look at that and say, you know how it is.
Earnhardt now with exactly 50 laps to go in the Haynes 500. 450 are complete. Will Earnhardt win? Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Look for the sign.
Professional service.
The red, blue, and white.
A friendly face.
It's a good sign.
Your Big A Pro.
Keeps your car running right.
Nice to know he uses top quality Big A parts.
Big A. The sign that keeps your car running right.
Someone to depend on when you need to depend on your car.
Bill couldn't believe what was happening. After the accident, he made a decision. He called Huffman & Huffman, and they know accident law. Next morning, Mr. Huffman came to his house. Bill was amazed, an attorney making house calls. Huffman & Huffman fought hard. Over 30 years' experience helping accident victims, and they get results. And they got results. They'll do the same for you, 24 hours a day. 8777-LAW.
Think of Sparks as your full-service auto center. At Sparks, our certified technicians test your car on state-of-the-art equipment to find the problem and fix it right the first time. We service cars, light trucks, and vans, specializing in fuel-injected and computerized vehicles. Our Sparks guarantee covers everything under the hood, from tune-ups and oil changes to brakes, shocks, struts, and engine repair. Right now, Sparks Computerized Car Care is featuring their maintenance tune-up for $29.90 on most 4-cylinder cars and oil and filter change for $14.90.
Storm brewing on ESPN. Saturday Night Thunder. It's a night of lightning quick action featuring live USAC midgets and sprints. Saturday Night Thunder on ESPN.
Back at Martinsville, Virginia, where Dale Earnhardt leads the Haynes 500. The sun has come out. It's been overcast all day, but now the sun is beginning to peek through the clouds.
And what will that do to some of the chassis out here? Because it's been overcast. We'll see Earnhardt's wiggling.
He's slow. He's definitely off the base.
Earnhardt is off the base.
Yes, he is dropping back, and Martin takes the lead. As we have seen now 3 times this afternoon, the lead is not the place to be. Kulwicki, Urban, and now Earnhardt. Jerry, what's wrong?
As I said just a minute ago, Bob, he is one of those 5 cars that had a 2.5-degree camber setting in the rear end. 3 of the 5 had already had axle problems, now make it 4 out of 5. The only one left on the track that has not experienced a problem yet, the 26 car at Brett Bodine, but they are telling me here in the Goodrich pits that it looks like it's probably an axle or drive plate, and Earnhardt obviously getting slower and slower.
And he'll probably just try to ride this out, fellas, rather than come in and change it with less than 50 laps to go.
You can see the frustration on Richard Childress' face. Now Mark Martin leads for the first time in 1992. And the nice thing about it for Mark is he only has 40 circuits around this half-mile racetrack before he puts a win on the board.
Almost identically, Dale Earnhardt and Ernie Irvin, the same spot in the cars, did almost exactly the same thing. Remember when both cars almost spun coming off that second corner. You know, what's happening now, these cars are only pulling on one wheel. That's why they're slipping and sliding and kicking. Kyle Petty's hit the wall coming off the second corner.
And just about the same spot that Davey Allison had some fire under the car.
Darrell Waltrip is racing Mark Martin, trying to get back to the caution flag first.
Come on, Kyle Petty, get out of that thing.
Martin leading, but now there is fire under the Kyle Petty car. It is still burning quite a bit. There now, Kyle sticks his head out of the mellow yellow Pontiac and begins to climb out. He's having difficulty doing something. And look at the car, just continues to burn. A lot of fire. And now Kyle successfully escapes.
That's one of the Keystone. That's one of the Keystone pit crewmen over there helping Kyle Petty out of the car.
That is one of Wally Dallenbach's crew members who came across the track to help Kyle Petty get out of his blazing race car.
Who is that with a red hat? Is that Jeff Bodine? That looks like Jeff Bodine with a fire extinguisher.
Well, these fellows will always come to help each other anytime they possibly can. Remember, Kyle still has steel in his leg from that accident at Talladega last year. There he is, sitting on the wall.
He appears to be okay, shaken obviously. Meanwhile, those on the lead lap are making pit stops here on the main straightaway. Only 2 pits are busy. Mark Martin and Brett Bodine, and the service.
And Brett Bodine wins the race out
because he only puts on 2 tires.
That may be smart pit strategy for Brett Bodine, the Quaker State crew, with only now 37 laps to go. You can see how still there is a little bit of fire under the mellow yellow Pontiac, and the crew's there with the firefighting equipment, but there is still blaze visible. Kyle is out of the car and appears to be okay sitting on the pit wall. We're at Martinsville, Virginia in the Haynes 500, and we'll be back after this.
Wherever dirt goes, you know it's up to no good, especially when dirt goes for your car. So when it comes to stopping dirt, more people go with Fram. Because no air filter traps more dirt than Fram. It's the #1 way to stop dirt in its tracks.
Uh-oh. Oh, no!
Oh, yeah. Fram, the end of the road for dirt.
These are test tracks for Craftsman tools. It's where we prove Craftsman can take the torture even guys like you dish out. 1,600 Craftsman hand tools, made in America, guaranteed forever.
On the first day, ESPN Home Video created Amazing Sports Bloopers 1. Pleased with the results, it then created Amazing Sports Bloopers 2. And then on the 7th day, it rested.
Just about to go back to green flag racing at Martinsville, Virginia next Sunday, live at 2 o'clock Eastern Time, Sunday, May 3rd. From Talladega Super Speedway in Alabama, it's the Winston 500 coverage here on ESPN. And ESPN fans watching this race, and it gives us an opportunity to mention and congratulate the fact that ESPN won 5 Emmy Awards this past week, one of them going to ESPN's Speed World team for technology innovation. And among the other things that was saluted, the telemetry that we have on Mark Martin's car this afternoon. Mark Martin is second to Brett Bodine as the green flag comes out for the
Bodine goes high in the turn.
Oh, mercy. And again, a leader has problems, and now Mark Martin. Could Bodine be experiencing the same problems that all those other cars have had? Remember, Jerry told us that he was the only other car that has this problem or potential problem.
He's definitely got some type of problem. But meanwhile, there's a second place car. The blue 22 is Sterling Marlin. He is now second.
Mark Martin is the leader of this race, and Sterling Marlin is is running on second.
Ooh, Martin and Darrell Waltrip got together down in turn 4. Darrell backs out and let Martin go. Close moment for the leader, Martin Martin.
Darrell was trying to get his lap back.
Well, gentlemen, it appears as if the Ford winning streak will continue. They're first and second.
That's why they pay me the big bucks, because I can always predict what's going to happen.
Yeah, you want to get a raise out of this deal.
We just said they'd have the best opportunity, and man, they had their opportunity.
They did.
I had a run for my money, and that's all you can hope for.
Next time around, we'll have 25 laps to go. Whoops, make that completing 477.
Math is not your strong suit, people. I can see that. Meanwhile, Martin has this thing in hand. 23 laps to go if he can just keep it going.
And watch where other drivers are running in our Fram Field summary.
Brett Bodine is still out there running, but he is way, way off the pace. But he's still in third place. Still in the lead now.
I do believe it's the same problem.
Yep.
Oh, he almost goes up, missed the wall that time. He got too much speed.
Man, oh man. That car is all over the racetrack. Jerry, what's the problem?
Well, Brett's not really sure what the problem is. He said when he went into the corner on the restart, the car wouldn't turn. He said he had trouble steering. He thought he had a tire going down. Now, as you all know, if there's an actual problem, sometimes with one wheel pulling, you can't turn the car. We saw a couple of guys nearly spin. Donnie Richardson here in the Crew Quaker State pits trying to find out. They're just going to have to ride it out. They think they may have a tire going down, but then again, it could be axle. So it's with 20 laps to go, they had no choice but to try to ride it out.
Well, Dale Earnhardt has now gone a lap down. He still is in fourth place, but not for long. Darrell Waltrip just took that away. So Darrell Waltrip now is in the fourth. Earnhardt is a lap down, and now Brett Bodine about to go a lap down as Mark Martin comes up on him.
You know, it's going to be interesting to see Brett Bodine and Dale Earnhardt racing for that third and fourth spot. That's slow as both those cars are going.
Yeah. Now Darrell Waltrip has moved into third as he moved around Brett Bodine. So now only two cars in the lead lap. Those of Mark Martin and Sterling Marlin.
And who is our Western Auto mechanic of the race? Steve Reel from Mark Martin's team. Congratulations, Steve. I think he was fifth in the point standings coming into this race, but he'll pick up some valuable points in the battle for the Western Auto Mechanic of the Year competition. Mark leads in the Valvoline Ford. Sterling Marlin second. The Maxwell House Ford.
This is the best run. Mark told me, as I said Friday, that they've had trouble getting around this racetrack. This is the best that he's ever been here in Martinsville. So he said, one of these days we'll win, we'll run good for 500 laps, we'll know what it takes. And I think after they leave here, they'll know what it takes.
There's second place, Sterling Marlin. You can see the distance separating first and second. Sterling running back there with Harry Gant and Alan Kulwicki.
Next time by, 15 laps to go, just 15 more. This will be a good, strong run for both these guys. Mark Martin needs a good run. Also, Sterling Marlin needs a good.
Now, the third place car is right there behind the leader. There are only two cars on the lead lap, Martin and Marlin, and third place is Darrell Waltrip, who is right behind Mark.
One lap down.
Right. And the fourth place car.
There's Terry Labonte.
Number 94, the Sunoco. Labonte once again with an excellent performance.
And it looks like he'll keep his streak alive of finishing in the top 10, the only driver to finish in the top 10 in every race so far this year. And I'll tell you, he's really going to gain in the points.
Yeah, he is. He was 116 points behind coming in fourth position. Allison, Gant, and Elliott will all finish well behind him.
Bill Elliott is in 10th place right now. Harry Gant is
7th. So he's
7th. So he's not going to gain that much on Gant and Elliott. But Davey Allison's guy is going to take it on the chin.
And how about Labonte will be in a Ford next Sunday, they say, at Talladega. If that happens, then that means he will have been in 3 different makes of car in the 1992 season.
And Martin by Dale Earnhardt one more time. Meanwhile, Earnhardt has passed Brett Bodine in their race. So Earnhardt is now 5th. Brett Bodine is 6th.
But Harry Gant is coming up on them, and I believe Harry would be racing them for position. He is 2 laps behind, and both of them now are 2 laps behind, so Gant should get both of them.
Team owner Jack Roush watching to see if his driver Mark Martin can pull off his first victory of 1992.
10 laps to go. Doyle Ford gives Mark the signal. 10 more. Boy, as a driver, that's the signal you most want to see. Those double hands. 10 laps to go after 500 laps around this thing. It's almost over. You're right there. Harry again goes by Earnhardt to take that spot away.
Earnhardt is in 5th position, 2 laps down.
Well, right now Gant's in 5th. He just passed Earnhardt, so Earnhardt's in 6th spot now.
But it does indeed keep Harry in the thick of the points battle. He was 86 behind Davey coming in, and Allison will finish somewhere around 26th in this race. He, of course, is already out, having crashed in turn number 2.
Boy, it is amazing how things have turned around in this race the last 200 laps of the race.
This has been an excellent race in terms of surprises.
Mark Martin probably no more surprised. He's probably the most surprised guy in the ballpark.
Oh, a spin in turn 4. Rick Mast creating a huge traffic jam.
They throw the caution flag. Let's see, Darrell Waltrip's going to try to beat Mark back to the line. He doesn't make it.
He didn't make it. It was close. But Darrell failed to get the lap back.
Now there's only 2 cars in the lead lap. And there's only 5 laps to go the next time by. So they're going to have a couple of laps of green flag racing. Does Mark Martin come in and pit and get up track position? Or does he let Sterling Marlin go in the back and put on 4 tires? What's going to happen, Bob?
I don't believe
Why
Mark
do you
will come
ask
in.
me? No, I don't think either one of them will come in.
The second place car will. Sterling Marlin will come in. He has nothing to lose.
Yeah, okay. Let's see if Mark does.
Nope. No, he stays out. Now Sterling will go in the back pit. See, because Mark had to make his choice.
Yeah.
Now Sterling has nothing to lose.
Nope, they're going green. Well, next time around. 1 lap to go, so Sterling won't. Or will he? No,
I don't think so.
No.
He couldn't get back out in time to catch back up to him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
interesting.
If it'd been one more lap, I
Yeah.
think Sterling would have went in.
Yeah, I think you're right.
It would have been interesting to see what happened, but we are going back to green, and we will have 4 laps of green, hopefully. Mark Martin making sure the tires stay warm. Darrell Waltrip still trying to get his lap back, hoping he will still be able to do so. Pontiac pace car heads for the pits, and here comes the green. 496 complete. We're on lap number 497. Sterling Marlin on the high side of the racetrack, outside of Darrell Waltrip and Bill Elliott.
Man, I'm telling you, Sterling got hung up on the outside of Darrell and just can't get by.
3 laps to go for Mark Martin.
Man, this is terrible.
Morgan Shepherd's car really smoking back in the pack. Morgan is being shown in the 7th position.
Now Darrell backs off and lets Sterling go ahead, but now he only has 2 laps. 2 laps to catch Mark Martin.
If Mark Martin holds on and wins, it'll be his 6th career NASCAR Winston Cup victory. 3rd on his short track. His last victory was the last race of 1991 at Atlanta. This will be the first time he's ever won at Martinsville, and the white flag is out. 1 more lap around this half-mile racetrack that has been exquisitely prepared as per usual by track owner Clay Earls. Here is Mark Martin as we ride with him with a half a lap to go. Mark Martin wins the Haynes 500.
He had his left hand out waving at the crowd. He didn't have his right hand waving to us, unfortunately. And there is a happy crew,
to say the least. Steve Meal, Jack Roush, and the boys celebrating Mark Martin's first win of the 1992 season at the Haynes 500 here at Martinsville. We'll be back to talk with him in Victory Lane after this. Stay with us.
game started like every other one I've played with.
11-8.
11-7, Dad.
Yeah, whatever. She actually said yes?
He was trying for an edge.
Huh? Yeah. Same woman the rest of your life.
Trying to rattle me.
Mortgage, kids, nervous? Huh? You look nervous.
And it was working.
Kids? So, who's gonna be your best man?
Now it was my turn.
I don't know. I thought maybe, you. Me? Oh, bingo!
Only one beer has the taste as genuine as the people who drink it.
What do you mean you'll get back to me?
Budweiser.
I'm just kidding.
You had me. I know I had you.
I had you out there.
We got it, we got it, we got it, we got it, you got it, you got it, you got it, you got it, we got it, we got it.
If you've got to have it, there's no better time to get it.
We got it, we got it, we got it, you got it, you got it, you got it.
The Suzuki We've Got It flexible financing. Come and get it.
To demonstrate the superior color of new Kodak Gold 400 film, just open a box. It has the richest, most vivid color available in a high-speed film. New Kodak Gold 400. Fast film. True colors.
The Ford winning streak in NASCAR Winston Cup competition continues. The GM teams had a shot at it, but in the end, it was the Ford of Mark Martin that prevailed in the Haynes 500 at Martinsville Speedway in Virginia. Our Speed World coverage being brought to you by Suzuki. Your Suzuki dealer has the ride that you've been waiting for and the financing to get it. And by Smooth Busch Beer and easy drinking Busch Light. Well, a big celebration in Victory Lane. Here's our Kodak Gold interview. Jerry?
And a happy Jack Roush team in Victory Lane. Jack Roush standing beside his victorious driver, Mark Martin. And Mark, congratulations on an outstanding effort.
Well, it was really a great run, and I tell you what, I want to thank Goodyear for putting us on the best race tires I've ever been on. They were great today, never gave up. Car worked beautiful, and, you know, I just thank Valvoline for hanging in there with us and Folgers, and you know, we brought it home. You know, it was a good day for us. The whole team has kept their chin up through times when things weren't working like they should, and if they'd have let that, if they would have let that get them down, we wouldn't have won today. And I'm real proud of them for being that strong.
That's why you've got Mark Martin and Jack Roush and this team together, because they're all winners, even through adversity. And today, it's in Victory Lane. Bob?
And as you take a look at the final points, or rather the final standings in the race, we'll get some closing comments from Ned and Benny here. Guys, that was a great race. It had a lot of surprises, that's for sure.
Certainly a lot of surprises, and you never knew who was going to prevail.
Until the very
It didn't look like the lead was the place to be for a long time.
You definitely did not want to be in the lead, because that was a kiss of death getting up there.
There you see the final results, finishing in 31st and 32nd position, Rusty Wallace and Jeff Bodine. Quickly, the point standings in the quest for the Cup. Allison remains on top, followed by Gant, Labonte, Elliott, and Kowicki. We'll see you next Sunday at Talladega. This is Bob Jenkins from Martinsville. So long, everyone.
Very, very difficult man to beat. If he should get the lead, Scott Sharp is not one to be known to be very brave or aggressive at the start, so he could play a cat and mouse situation. But those two, for sure, will be two of the strongest all afternoon.
Scott Sharp says, I want 10 poles this year. He's already lost the first of the year to a man making his Trans Am debut, Robbie Gordon. It should be a great race, and we'll be bringing it to you all day long when we return to a newly remodeled circuit here at Long Beach. ESPN coverage of the Tide Trans Am Tour from Long Beach is brought to you by Kenwood for the ultimate listening experience in your home or car. And by Goodyear, #1 in tires. We'll be back to introduce the starting grid and take the green flag in the first race of the 1992 Trans Am Tour. Stay with us.
Sports Car Club of America Tide Trans Am Tour champion Scott Sharp.
There's many opportunities in SCCA,
from timing and scoring, being an official, to corner working. If anybody's interested at all in motorsports but not exactly sure which way they want to go, they need to call the SCCA, find out what the closest track is, and go there and see what it is that they would like to do. For membership information, call 1-800-255-5550.
Popular Mechanics presents NASCAR action that's neck and neck to the finish line with the hottest video twin pack in stock car history. Popular Mechanics presents all-time greatest stock car finishes. Plus, NASCAR champion Bill Elliott's Racing to Victory, our video duke out of tire burning, fender banging, door handle to door handle excitement. Bill Elliott's Racing to Victory takes you behind the scenes as $1 Million Bill leads his high-tech team from machine shop to victory lane.
I guess I like things that go fast.
But is it fast enough to beat the all-time greatest stock car finishes? Start with Junior Johnson, Darrell Waltrip, Richard Petty, and the greatest drivers in their all-time greatest races.
Made it exciting for the fans, made it pretty exciting for the drivers.
To order Popular Mechanics' all-time greatest stock car finishes, plus Bill Elliott's Racing to Victory, just call the number on your screen or send check or money order for $29.95 to this address. Put yourself in the driver's seat. Call now. It doesn't get any faster than this.
Back in Long Beach, California, one pace lap to go before we take the green flag in the Tide Trans Am Tour race. 82 degrees, 55% humidity, a light breeze, and no chance of rain whatsoever. Right now, let's take a look at our starting grid. On the pole, Robbie Gordon in his Trans Am debut with a Ford Mustang with a lap at 91.047 miles an hour. At his elbow, the defending series champion in a Camaro, Scott Sharp from Norwalk, Connecticut. On row 2, Stuart Hayner, a bit of a surprise, the Californian in a Chevy Camaro, next to the Ford Mustang of Ron Fellows from Toronto, Canada. On row 3, Tommy Archer in the number 5 spot with one of those new Dodges. Next to him, Paul Gentilozzi from Lansing, Michigan, the '88 winner here in Long Beach. On row 4 will be Greg Pickett from Alamo, California, the '78 Trans Am champion in a Camaro, next to the similar car of George Robinson, last year's most improved driver from Houston, Texas. On row 5, Jack Baldwin, Scott Sharp's teammate, an identical Camaro, next to Les Lindley from Anaheim, California, with 120 career Trans Am starts. Row 6 will be Randy Ruhlman, next to Wayne Akers. On row 7, Jim Durhag and Bobby Archer. Row 8, Deborah Gregg, the only female driver in the field, along with Michael Dingman, the oldest driver at age 61. Row 9, Bob Patch and Wally Owens. On 10, Steve Anderson next to Courtney Smith. Row 11 will be NFL superstar Walter Payton next to R.J. Valentine. Row 12, Mike Downs and Jerry Clinton. Row 13, 60-year-old Andy Poterfield and John Anderson. And on the 14th and final row, Glenn Fox and Skip Panzarella. Let's take a look at how this street course has changed in the last year, Derek.
One of the most popular street racing circuits in America, but it has changed. It was 11 turns. Now they've taken out the very difficult and bumpy square section you see here at the top of your picture, which went under the car park of the Hyatt Hotel. Now they've made it a long back straight, which is much, much faster. And really, from what I can gather from everybody likes it, but the racetrack is much faster.
On the left, Robbie Gordon, the pole sitter, in the red Whistler Mustang. On the right, the yellow Duracell Camaro, the defending series champion, Scott Sharp.
And on street racing, I was going to say it's so important to get full advantage of that pole position, but look at Scott Sharp. Immediately, he gets a tremendous jump on Robbie Gordon.
Now, these drivers have different tire combinations in their car. Robbie Gordon off to the right. He will come through that first turn in third place as Ron Fellows, and the blue number 4 Mustang moves up. Through the turns 1 and 2 complex.
Stu Hayner took avoiding action under heavy braking for turn 1 there. I think he thought that he was going to get hit by Paul Gentilozzi as he came down the outside, but Stu Hayner ran from that car and in fact lost a couple of positions.
Bit of a surprise there. Robbie Gordon gave up first and second positions in the first corner.
Here's this long back stretch. This is the new section here at Long Beach. They've taken out the piece that went in under. Oh, bumping and boring there. That's Tommy Archer, number 3 in the Dodge. Bit of bumping and boring. Test the bodywork there. But that was the new section that they cut out. You used to go under the bridge, under the car park at the Hyatt Hotel.
There's a look at Scott Sharp, just 24 years of age, a second-generation racer. His father, Bob Sharp, is a 6-time SCCA national champion. Right now, it's a two-man race up front, Dirt.
And look at Ron Fellows. And look what Sharp does. Look at him move to the inside, then he goes back out. We're now inside Ron Fellows' car. This is exactly what he sees. Look at Scott Sharp. Dabs the brakes, dabs them again. Now he's hard on the power. This is one of the slowest sections here. Dabs the brake again. This is all second gear stuff here, about 50 miles an hour.
There are 4 basic motor and carburetor combinations in Trans Am. No fuel injection in the series this year, as SCCA officials seek to limit costs and keep the car count up for the races. The cars weigh anywhere from 2,450 pounds to 2,650, depending on engine displacement. Fellows looking down the inside now. Scott Sharp, he'll take the position.
Oh, very brave, a good move. That's very, very bumpy down the inside of there. They approach that corner above 150 miles an hour, but a very, very sweet move by Ron Fellows.
In the final turn, that sharp hairpin. The cars will get a little bit tail happy all day long as the drivers get on the throttle again and call up 600 horsepower as fast as they do.
This car that Ron Fellows is in is run by Tom Gloy. We've been very familiar with his name over the last couple of years, competing himself. Now he runs a race team, but look what's going on behind. Paul Gentilozzi trying to fend off the attack from Stu Hayner, comes down the inside of the racetrack, trying to defend that 4th position.
Paul Gentilozzi won this race back in 1988 when Scott Pruitt ran out of gas here at Long Beach. But you take him any way you can get him. Hayner all over the back of Gentilozzi's car now.
This is this long run now down this back section. Now Stu Hayner needs to go down the inside. It's the most difficult thing to do on this racetrack though, and he doesn't get the job done there. Can't quite get close enough to Paul Gentilozzi, who comes back to Trans Am Racing because this year his main focus is the IMSA GTS series.
And he had some unkind things to say about the Trans Am series. He said it was kind of low rent, you know, not a lot of high-tech equipment. And he angered a lot of people in the series. I'm a little bit surprised to see Paul Gentilozzi in the pits this weekend, much less on the racetrack.
I think Stu Hayner missed a gear. I'm sure he missed a gear coming out of the hairpin. He moved over to the right side, lost a lot of momentum, and then lost that position to Greg Pickett.
Greg Pickett, who won the Drivers' Championship way back in 1978. And it looks like Stu Hayner has some more problems. Looked like he was going straight on there, but apparently not.
We saw Stu Hayner run so well last year. In fact, he liked this car so much. He went and bought the car, the equipment, the team, everything bar the building from Bruce Sanders up in Portland, and basically came down to California, set up his own team with his good friend Jeff Davis. So now he's an owner driver.
Good luck there at Greg Pickett, another owner driver in the series this year. Switched from V6 to V8 engines last year, and by his own admission, wasn't very good. Came back this year, though. He has 14 Trans Am victories to his credit, and he wants to pick up another one here today at Long Beach. Good look from high overhead as they head down Shoreline Drive, touching 175 miles an hour. Plenty of action still to come from Long Beach, California.
Football fans, here it comes. Sports Illustrated brings you the hard-hitting excitement of NFL football in this thrilling new video, The Best of Thunder and Destruction. It's free with your paid subscription to Sports Illustrated. The best way to capture all the action and emotion of sports. Call this toll-free number now and get a no-holds-barred look at what it takes to win in the NFL.
The other team's quarterback must go down. And he must go down hard.
It's an explosive 45 minutes that will knock you over again and again. And it's free from Sports Illustrated. Plus, you'll get 30 issues of Sports Illustrated, including the 2 big football previews for only $1.29 an issue. Save over 55% off the cover price. Call now to subscribe or renew. And for quicker delivery, use your credit card. With your free video, the NFL's best come at you one right after another. And you'll catch all the action of sports every week in Sports Illustrated. Call now.
Man and machine working together, racing against the clock at the Indy 500 time trials. A.J. Foyt and Rick Mears, both fighting to qualify. Either one could be Indy's first 5-time champion. The excitement of the Indy 500 time trials. Coverage begins Sunday live on ESPN.
second place, the number 33 car of Scott Sharp and Robbie Gordon. We thought the battle was going to be between these two guys, but you saw that blue Ford Mustang go out the bottom of your screen, and that is Ron Fellows, the Canadian, opening up about a 3-car length advantage.
Quick dab of the brakes. We saw those brake lights pop on there. These are two of the future stars of American racing right here. Very successful in every class of racing they've gone into. And we have problems down in the back section here.
Number 42. Hard against the wall. That's Skip Panzarella from Melville, New York, the last starter in this field.
It's difficult to see what happened to the car. We did see some blue smoke and some dust. That could have been just from driving offline. But he's clear. He's out of the car. He's okay. That's the most important thing.
He stopped by that horse marshal crawl through, so we can guess that was probably a mechanical problem for Skip Panzarella. Short day for him. Meanwhile, back up front at the bottom of your screen in the blue car, Ron Fellows. Then Scott Sharp.
Ideal situation here for Ron Fellows. He can see Robbie Gordon is now breathing down the neck of Scott Sharp. Scott Sharp, in an effort to maintain that second place, will actually have to try and protect himself. Oh, Courtney Smith is almost in the guardrail there on the left-hand side. Courtney Smith, one of the rookies in this series here. But Scott Sharp will have to look behind him and let Ron Fellows just creep away a little bit. Now, we saw Stu Hayner earlier on. We expected him to be one of the competitive cars here, but he was in all sorts of trouble, particularly down this front straight.
Let's see if we can learn more about Hayner's situation with Chris McClure in the pits.
Well, to a certain degree, his crew is mystified. They haven't been able to establish radio contact as he works his way around the circuit, but they believe he may have a transmission problem. They're looking for a certain answer from inside the cockpit. So far, they don't have it.
Leaders just completing lap number 7. The order: Ron Fellows, Scott Sharp, Robbie Gordon, then Paul Gentilozzi, Greg Pickett, Tommy Archer, and Les Lindley. I think that Stu Hayner has now gotten around Les Lindley. He takes over the 8th spot, followed by Jack Baldwin and George Robinson, rounding out the top 10. On board now with your leader, Ron Fellows. You see Tom Gloy racing across the dashboard. The former series champion now runs his own team, and Ron Fellows has taken his Trans Am career into the good hands of the former series winner.
He changed teams midway through last year, which is never a good situation for a driver, but now Ron Fellows obviously looks to have a very good package underneath him. This is the hairpin, the slowest corner on the racetrack. This is about 40 miles an hour. Now here's a long, long blast up through the gearbox, down past the front straight here. You see him select top gear here, right there, quick flick of the wrist.
Look at that huge piece of ventilation hose trying to bring cooler air
into the driver. These cars get so warm. Now this is the fastest part of the racetrack. Look, he makes 2 downshifts. He's gone down to second gear. Nice, easy movements. Remember, these cars do have power steering. He's now in this very twisty right left section. Then he blasts out onto that long back section that's new this year. Slick of gear. Look how short the movements are and how quick the movements are changing gear.
Just a fraction of a second going up underneath the roadway through the shadows.
Now look at Robbie Gordon trying to creep down the inside of Scott Sharp. We just caught a quick glimpse there. Back inside with the leader. This is the long drifting left-hander before we get back to this slow hairpin once again. This is a first gear hairpin.
That left-hander is a real driver's corner. He's sliding the car through there, going very quickly, maybe close to 100 miles an hour or so, and then hard on the brakes. Scott Sharp has gotten around. Scott Sharp is dropping back. You saw Robbie Gordon had gotten around him.
That's where we suspected. That's where we saw Ron Fellows made the move earlier on. Well, Robbie Gordon did exactly the same thing. It was the end of the back straight, but now look at Gentilozzi squeezes. Yes, he makes it.
Oh, shuts the door on the way out as well. Now Greg Pickett is the next car in line. We'll have to wait and see if Scott Sharp has perhaps lost a gear or something.
Sometimes you just lose momentum, and that is enough on a street circuit like this to lose 2 positions in less than 1 lap, which is what we just see here happening to Scott Sharp.
Onto the backstretch stretch now. You can see Greg Pickett in the number 6 white car on the left, looking for a way around Scott Sharp.
Now remember, Pickett saw exactly what Gentilozzi just did, so that's exactly what he thinks he can do. And in fact, I would say that oh, look at Robbie Gordon down the inside of the leader.
Robbie Gordon making his bid for the lead. Ron Fellows will have to back up. Looks like Paul Gentilozzi might get a run at Fellows. You're on board with Fellows now, looking ahead at the new leader.
Brave, risky move. That's the hairpin that we spoke about. It's a first gear corner. Robbie Gordon shot right down the inside, and you saw what happened. He almost stalled his car, and in fact, in turn, had to almost stall Ron Fellows. Now he's in traffic.
Going around the lap car of Andy Porterfield. Ron Fellows right there. Now here's a guy who has not driven in this series before. Granted, he's driven in the GTO series in IMSA, which are similar cars. What is traffic going to mean to him here?
Well, traffic means that he has to anticipate what somebody ahead of him will do and watch behind him. And of course, Ron Fellows now hopes that Robbie Gordon is going to get caught in traffic. But what a great couple of moves we've just seen in the space of just 1.5 laps from Robbie Gordon. He sat back in a nice controlled third place, didn't make any aggressive moves at all, and suddenly gets second and then attacks and takes the lead. Great move by Robbie Gordon.
He has come a long way. Robbie Gordon started out in Orange, California as an off-road racer, pitching trucks around in the desert. They brought him to the racetrack, and he showed car owner Jack Roush that he was absolute magic on the pavement. They put him in the cars, though, and he started to bang up a little bit of equipment. He needed to learn maturity. He seems to have found it, and he leads in his Trans Am debut over Rob Fellows, Paul Gentilozzi, Scott Sharp. We'll be back for more action from Long Beach.
Fresh, pure, and natural. The only beer with the genuine taste of the king of beers, Budweiser.
Okay, on the left. That's it. Smile. We're all related now. I know it's scary.
Aren't you glad you used dial?
Hold it. Oh, no, don't go anywhere.
Don't you wish everybody did?
Take the picture.
All of these championship-winning drivers have one thing in common: Goodyear tires. The championship-winning technology that's found in the Eagle and Wrangler tires that Goodyear races can also be found in the Eagle and Wrangler tires that Goodyear sells. The champions know, and it's why we say the best tires in the world have Goodyear written all over them.
On Shoreline Drive in Long Beach, California at about 190 miles an hour. This is the view out the front window of Ron Fellows from Toronto, Canada, running third in today's Tide Trans Am Tour season opener, Long Beach, California.
Well, what we see here is, look at Paul Gentilozzi managed to squeeze by. So Ron Fellows now has his hands full because he's slowly dropping back. I wonder, is this tire juggling act beginning to fall into place here? Because we know Stu Hayner, who we saw earlier on, he was one of the drivers who opted for a harder left front tire.
In fact, he's the only driver in the field who took the harder of the two compounds that Goodyear has brought here for these drivers and put it on the left front. Ooh, spinning there. Number 3, Tommy Archer.
I think he caught it. He got out of control, got her sideways on the way in, used up all the road right to the outside, and managed to gather the whole thing up before he actually made contact.
Looking out the back of Tommy Archer's Dodge Daytona. That's Les Lindley from Anaheim, California. Number 2 in career starts in Trans Am. Still looking for his first victory. Just a few years ago, he got so close, leading by 13 seconds on the last lap at the last corner. His engine quit.
And look at it close up. Look at the horsepower. Now he sneaks down the inside and makes it stick. More horsepower in that Chevrolet there.
Great move by Les Lindley.
We see Stu Hayner there just at the top of the picture, so he is still up and running. Whatever problem he had earlier on, look at Lindley, gets her sideways, kicks that back out very close to the wall. In fact, he has a sideways again. That is one of the problems here. The rear tires do tend to go off a little bit faster than the fronts and can get this sideways wheel spin action, which we see here.
This is Jerry Clinton or Walter Payton. I can't make out the number on the car.
So difficult to see the numbers on that car. We see the front nose cone is gone. This is one of Tom Gloy's cars.
Let's get more from the pits and Chris McClure.
Jerry Clinton checked into the pit just a moment ago. He had contact with someone or something on the course and hurt the left front. They changed one tire and stripped away all of the bodywork at the front and sent him back out. I asked Tom Gloy, the team owner and manager, what they're going to do with it, if they'll try and reinstall another panel. He said they just haven't decided yet.
Well, they may not have the opportunity to do either as Jerry Clinton sits out there on the racetrack. Man trying to bring NFL football back to his native St. Louis, Missouri. Looking ahead now from Tommy Archer's car up ahead to Les Lindley. This is the battle for 6th place on the racetrack. We just passed Jerry Clinton's car. Let's take another look at what happened to him.
This is it. Now he has no front bodywork. That means also he has no front downforce. And we see what happens here. He simply cannot turn the car to make that corner. So the easiest thing to do and the safest thing to do is to just go wide and to stop and start the whole thing again.
Here's a good look at Jerry Clinton. Let's take a look at the running order. It is Gordon, Gentilozzi, Ron Fellows, Scott Sharp, Brett Pickett, Les Lindley, Tommy Archer, Stu Hainer, Jack Baldwin, and George Robinson in the top 10. Once again, back to that battle for 6th place. Les Lindley just ahead of Tommy Archer. These Dodge cars are such an incredible story. Just last November, the deal was done to bring these cars into the series. In 4 months, they built 2 cars, acquired another one as a test mule, tested 2,000 miles, and here they are on the grid for the first race of the season.
Right up behind Les Lindley. See how he closes up under braking, but that Chevrolet does seem to have a little bit more power down this front straight. There's the yellow flag. We see it still waving. They're still trying to clear off Jerry Clinton's car. That's it on the left-hand side. But now we're still back inside Tommy Archer's car. This is just very fast. Left, right S's, and then blast under the bridge here down this very fast and very bumpy back section.
Let's take a closer look now at this whole Dodge creation. The Archer brothers from Duluth, Minnesota. Chris McClure stopped by the paddock and learned more about the Dodge history and Trans Am in these cars.
A sight not seen in a Trans Am paddock since 1970 when Dodge decided to leave the series. Prior to that, they had found some success in Trans Am competition. In 1966, with the Dart model, 2 races were won by Dodge. In 1967, Dart won 1 more. Subsequent to that was the Challenger. It ran through 1970, but never did find the winner's circle, and they left the series. Now they're back, and a man largely responsible for that is Walter Voss. Welcome back. It looks like you're ready.
We are ready, and we've got 2 beautiful cars, and we're happy to be back in what we think is the premier road racing series in America.
And the Archer brothers will carry the mail in the cockpit for you. They're pretty good.
Bobby and Tommy Archer have raced for us since 1984. They've been successful in Jeep trucks and everything else they've run, and we think they're going to have a very good year and take us back to the victory circle here in Trans Am.
Dodge is back for 92 in Trans Am, so it is the big 3 ready to rumble in the streets.
There's the number 98 car of Stu Hainer in the pits. We are under a full course yellow flag situation here at Long Beach. Giving Stu Hainer time to get some work done on that car, but as we saw earlier, it may be serious. He's been slipping backwards since the opening laps. You are on board with Ron Fellows. We'll take a quick timeout during the yellow flag. Robbie Gordon leads in his very first Trans Am.
Don't wait for this kind of excitement. Get Auto Week. Don't wait for racing news. Get Auto Week. Call 1-800-354-3800 for a full year of Auto Week at the special TV price of $19.95, just 38 cents an issue. Stop waiting. Do it now. Call 1-800-354-3800 for the News Weekly of Motoring.
Today, performance cars come in a variety of designs, sizes, and even prices. So do Goodyear Eagles, the world's most successful line of performance tires. There are all-season Goodyear Eagles, new ultra-performance Goodyear Eagles. There are Goodyear Eagles for the classic and for the contemporary. No matter what performance car you own, there's a Goodyear Eagle priced for you. It's another reason we say the best tires in the world have Goodyear written all over them.
This week, the ladies are ready to roll at the Blue Ribbon Ladies Classic. Then former Olympian Todd Foster battles Jazzy Jeff Mayweather live on Top Rank Boxing.
Knockdown Thursday, ESPN. Hey!
Back in Long Beach, California, where we remain under a caution flag to get Jerry Clinton's crippled car off the racetrack. Right now, we'd like to show you what happened a few moments ago following the safety car. Watch back in the field, swinging back and forth across the track in 5th place. The power steering fluid.
We mentioned earlier on that these cars do in fact use power steering, but Greg Pickett was making very aggressive maneuvers down that back straight to keep those tires warm and clean. That has cost him his power steering setup, which now his arm muscles better be strong.
We mentioned at the top of the show that these Trans Am cars are very simple. In fact, many of them are almost identical. Chris McClure has more as we take a look at a track fact.
A lot of makes and models are represented in any Trans Am field, but under the current rules, it has become essentially a spec series. Now, this is Ron Fellows' Mustang, part of the Tom Gloy stable. The platform on which it rides comes from Riley Scott of Indianapolis. The Ford motor powers it, and of course the Mustang bodywork. But how much is this different from, say, a Camaro? Well, let's take a look. This is Jerry Clinton's car, another part of the Tom Gloy stable, but this happens to be a Camaro. The platform on which it rides comes from Riley Scott of Indianapolis. Same length overall as the Mustang, same width as the Mustang, same wheelbase as the Mustang. It does have a Chevrolet power plant and, of course, this Camaro skin. So what are the differences? Well, the aerodynamic package dictated by the two different outside skins, horsepower and reliability of the respective power plants, and of course the essential ingredient, the man behind the wheel. With another track back, I'm Chris McClure.
The cars continue to circulate behind the yellow flag. We're looking forward to a green when we return to the Sports Car Club of America season opener in Long Beach, California.
We've got a bit of an edge with the driver we have. We've got the best driver out there. So it's a matter of the mechanics just not overlooking anything. Al and I stay in constant communication during the race. I have to be aware of what he wants or needs, you know, at all times. I think the small details are is what makes the difference between winning and running second.
The technology developed on the track for the awesome 650 horsepower Lumina NASCAR champion goes into cars like this. A 1992 twin dual cam V6 Chevy Lumina Z34. Sorry, decals not included. Z34, from the heartbeat of America, the cars more people depend on.
All of these championship-winning drivers have one thing in common: Goodyear Racing Eagles. The race-winning technology that's found in the Goodyear Racing Eagles can also be found in the world's best-selling line of high-performance street tires, Goodyear Eagle Street Radials. The champions know, and it's why we say the best tires in the world have Goodyear written all over them.
Sports Car Club of America Tide Trans Am Tour champion Scott Sharp.
There's many opportunities in SCCA, from timing and scoring, being an official, to corner working. If anybody's interested at all in motorsports but not exactly sure which way they want to go, they need to call the SCCA, find out what their closest track is, and go there and see what it is that they would like to do. For membership information, call 1-800-255-5550.
Long Beach, California, Goodyear's newly repainted and renamed airship Eagle, based in nearby Carson, California, provides our aerial pictures. Today's pilot is Nick Nicolari from Lake Forest, California. Down to the start-finish line, we have a green flag. Paul Gentilozzi trying to overtake race leader Robbie Gordon, who shuts the doors.
Look at Ron Fellows down the outside of Gentilozzi, though.
Quick look on board Ron Fellows' car. Looks like he's going to try Gentilozzi on the outside, and that doesn't work at Long Beach.
It is so close on some of these restarts. Now, what surprised me is they actually exited a hairpin, and Robbie Gordon took the field down very slowly. That's what you're supposed to do, but very few drivers ever do that. But we saw a tremendous restart there.
I mentioned earlier, Robbie Gordon has been looking for that sort of racing maturity, the savvy, the conservativeness, to be able to hold back, preserve your tires, win a race in the late laps when it really counts. There he is, and he has really learned a lot. I've been watching him for about 3 years now, and he is the consummate racer now.
Oh, we see Scott Sharp had a little look down the inside of Ron Fellows. Ron Fellows saw exactly what he was going to do. Look at that Dodge, makes contact with the back of the Chevrolet, but Ron Fellows moved to the inside. Scott Sharp had nowhere to go.
On board now with Tommy Archer, looking ahead at Scott Sharp. And the Camaro begins to pull away from the Dodge as they come on to Shoreline Drive and go up through the gearbox.
Now we've had time to cool everything down, cool the tires down, and now it's a flat-out sprint from here to the end of the race. But just look how much that Camaro pulled away from the Dodge. We saw that earlier on, so it doesn't look as if the Dodge has quite the horsepower that they need at the moment. But remember, this is the first race in Trans Am since they returned.
Shaking the bugs out. 310 cubic inch V8s in these cars, in these Dodges, built by Joey Arrington, son of NASCAR Winston Cup legendary engine builder Buddy Arrington. Down the backstretch.
Robbie Gordon has breathing space, and look behind him now. Gentilozzi goes down the inside. Oh, he locks up that left front. Can he make the corner? Yes, he does, just about.
Right in front of Ron Fellows. The order is Gordon, Gentilozzi, Fellows, Scott Sharp, Tommy Archer, Les Lindley, Greg Pickett, George Robinson, Jack Baldwin, and Wayne Akers in the top 10. On board now with Ron Fellows, looking ahead at Paul Gentilozzi.
And now this is the Ford versus the Chevrolet Camaro sprint race down this front section. Remember, Gentilozzi has been a winner here before at Long Beach, but now look at the Ford. Oh, I was going to say he creeps up behind him, but he doesn't. Gentilozzi stays down on the inside, and again, Ron Fellows has to go to the outside line, which in fact is the faster line.
During that yellow flag, our third qualified car, Stu Hayner from Yorba Linda, California, was pushed away. He's standing by now with Chris McClure.
Early speculation from the crew was a gearbox problem. Not that, but Stu Hayner just as critical.
Yes, we thought we had a great car going into this race. We did a few changes on the brakes, so we had to be a little timid in the beginning. And it's a good thing we did because we were a little backwards on our brakes. But we finally got that dialed in. By the time I got the brakes straightened out and the car was working, our elite sponsored Chevrolet Camaro sort of ended up with a misfire. We went around for a while and you know, we thought we would stay in there until the end of the race, but it turns out we may have dropped a valve.
Okay, Stuart Hayner, thank you.
Thank you very much.
And so Stuart Hayner is done. Meanwhile, back out on Shoreline Drive, going up through the gearbox, Tommy Archer reaching terminal velocity before the frenzied minuet of clutch, accelerator, and brake begins for the turn 1 and 2 complex. Let's listen. Tommy Archer's car, the slip-sliding Chevy Camaro.
He's still at it. Les Lindley sticks the power on the back of that car, and the rear end breaks loose, and he's having a great time this afternoon. Boy, we see all sorts of lines. Gentilozzi just went out of our picture there, down the middle of the road again. Remember, we'll look at Scott Sharp, sneaks down the inside, doesn't make it inside Ron Fellows. But they move to the middle of the road because it makes it extremely difficult for anybody trying to make a pass down the inside, and it's very, very bumpy. The tighter line you take on the inside of the corner, it gets worse with less grip.
There's a look at Robbie Gordon, who had a lead of 3.8 seconds before it was wiped out by the mid-race yellow flag. He now begins to stretch it out again from high above Shoreline Drive in Long Beach. Big lead for Robbie Gordon. He's out of the picture. There he is at the bottom of your screen, under braking.
The reason he has a comfortable lead, he's taking the racing line. See how wide he was? Paul Gentilozzi is protecting his position. Paul, in fact, may be holding up this train of cars behind him and making it actually easier for Robbie Gordon. Now, remember, Robbie Gordon sees that in his mirror, and it's exactly what he wants to see. Somebody's got to make a move here because it's going to stay status quo unless there's somebody is brave under braking at the end of this straight here and down the inside. They're not close enough right there. They're too far apart to make a move.
15 laps to go. We've completed 30. There you see Scott Sharp. Robbie Gordon in the red 15 leads. Gentilozzi, Fellows, and Scott Sharp. As the action continues here at Long Beach, I'm with you, Derek. Something has to happen soon. This is a race known for its upsets.
Scott Sharp is very good at saving his tires and being very fast at the end of the race. We're going to watch for that.
managing tire wear on a car making close to 650 horsepower and doing it at top speed on a circuit like the one here at Long Beach that offers so little grip. Just one of the driving skills necessary for success on the Tide Trans Am Tour. Aboard once again with Canadian Ron Fellows, feet dancing between accelerator, brake, and clutch, sliding around on the rear bumper of second place Paul Gentilozzi. Robbie Gordon leads over Gentilozzi, Fellows, Sharp, and Archer. We'll give you a look at the top 15 as the action continues on the SCCA Tide Trans Am Tour. It's the season opener here at Long Beach, and we'll be right back.
Football fans, here it comes. Sports Illustrated brings you the hard-hitting excitement of NFL football in this thrilling new video, the best of thunder and destruction. It's free with your paid subscription to Sports Illustrated. The best way to capture all the action and emotion of sports. Call this toll-free number now and get a no-holds-barred look at what it takes to win in the NFL.
The other team's quarterback must go down. And he must go down hard.
It's an explosive 45 minutes that will knock you over again and again. And it's free from Sports Illustrated. Plus, you'll get 30 issues of Sports Illustrated, including the 2 big football previews for only $1.29 an issue. Save over 55% off the cover price. Call now to subscribe or renew. And for quicker delivery, use your credit card. With your free video, the NFL's best come at you one right after another. And you'll catch all the action of sports every week in Sports Illustrated. Call now.
There's a storm brewing on ESPN. Saturday Night Thunder. ESPN Speed Week rolls in to start off a night of lightning quick action. Then it's the radical and the ruthless. And the rumble-tumble excitement of live USAC midgets and sprints. Saturday Night Thunder strikes again on ESPN. Back in Long Beach at the SCCA Tide Trans Am season opener, down the inside in the yellow 33 comes defending series champion Scott Sharp. He takes third place from Canadian Ron Fellows.
Exactly what we said. Scott Sharp is one of the drivers who can keep control of his tires and his car and makes late race charges. Now, next in line, he's running third, but next in line is right ahead of him, Paul Gentilozzi, again in a Camaro.
That's right. It was third place that Scott Sharp took last year in a race. I believe it was in Portland, Oregon. Scott Sharp learned what saving your tires can do. The master strategist on that Buzz McCall team, a fellow named Will Moody, up front looked like maybe Paul Gentilozzi lightened up those tires again under braking. Will Moody told Scott Sharp, conserve your tires, drop back. He let 6 cars get ahead of him, came back and won the race.
We see him with those quick dabs on the brakes again from those rear lights. We can tell that. Now we're looking back from the back of Tommy Archer's car, looking back at Les Lindley.
Unbelievable how fast that scenery goes by at 170 miles an hour or so. Another look. Is so hard on tires and transmissions and brakes.
And particularly brakes. We've seen Paul Gentilozzi look at Scott Sharp now. He is absolutely all over the back of Gentilozzi, gets the car sideways coming out onto this front straight. But now watch what Gentilozzi does. Again, I bet he'll take the middle of the line, the middle of the road. He does exactly the same thing again. Scott Sharp has to go down the outside. Very difficult move here. Very difficult move, and in fact, he can't make it. But he realizes Robbie Gordon. Now, we wanted to see these two have a fair battle all afternoon, but Robbie Gordon is right ahead of Paul Gentilozzi.
The gap from first to second, last time by the start-finish line, 1.9 seconds. Okay, Gentilozzi driving an offensive or defensive race at this point?
Defensive, very much defensive. Now, look what's wrong here. Scott Sharp is about 3 or 4 car lengths behind. He's not going to be able to make the move down here. Look at the cars weave and bob under braking. That's how hard they're on these brakes. The car fighting to keep that traction, that grip, in an effort to actually turn in and make the apex. There's Robbie Gordon. He's right there. So if Scott Sharp can get by Gentilozzi, we could have a real doozy.
We mention, there are 2 tire compounds here. Both Scott Sharp and Paul Gentilozzi chose the softer Goodyear compound for their front tires. The harder compound is on all 4 wheels of Robbie Gordon's car. He may have more rubber at this point. Weaving to one side and then to the other. Down the inside goes Scott Sharp to take back second place.
Great move, a great move. He went down the outside, so Paul Gentilozzi thought he was clear. And then at the last possible moment, Scott Sharp slices down the inside. Now, next man ahead of him is Robbie Gordon.
34 laps complete. Working lap 35 of 45 laps in the race. Scott Sharp will see if he can open up a gap now on Paul Gentilozzi.
That was a great move. Now Gentilozzi again has a look down the inside, but realistically he knows he's not close enough because Gentilozzi is not as strong as Sharp under braking because we saw him lock his tires earlier on. Now this is exactly what happened. Look at Gentilozzi down the inside of the racetrack. He thinks he has the line. Sharp goes from the outside right to the inside. Now he's alongside. Gentilozzi has no chance to take the apex. Great move by Scott Sharp.
Down into the turn 1 and 2 complex. Sharp now in second place, but look at the gap already out of the picture. Robbie Gordon is running away from second place Scott Sharp. This is the battle for second. Give you a look at the running order as we watch this battle continue into turns 1 and 2, where Sharp took second place away last time around.
We saw traffic be a factor earlier on in the race as we see Scott Sharp just slide through this section again. We see the brake lights again, a little dab. Now this is the long back section here, but Scott Sharp needs a little break in traffic now. He needs Robbie Gordon to get held up a little bit.
Just 24 years of age, Scott Sharp, the youngest SCCA national champion at age 18 back in 1986.
That's it. That was the leader. Just went out of your picture there. He's now going into the hairpin. Scott Sharp sets up for it and then goes this long drag down the front straight. So it's Ford Mustang versus Chevrolet Camaro.
Sharp opening up a gap now. Gentilozzi dropping back.
And Robbie Gordon continues to open up that gap. Now maybe he was controlling the situation, just sitting out far enough ahead, not going too hard to use up those tires, maybe knowing that Scott Sharp, in fact, gets very strong at the end of a race.
Another look out the back of Tommy Archer's car. Meanwhile, up front, the gap from first to second up to 3.38 seconds. More for the pit lane now with Chris McClure.
Well, you fellas have been watching the adventures of Paul Gentilozzi. We wonder, of course, Jim Fraser, if it might be a problem with brakes or tires or both.
No, the car's working fine. He's running it as hard as we can. We went with a slightly harder compound, and he's just running it as hard as he can, and we're just hanging on.
And Paul Gentilozzi always runs it hard.
Paul Gentilozzi driving a team car, to that being driven by George Robinson, who has gotten around Jack Baldwin and Greg Pickett, now up into 7th place. Oh, the 32 car, this is Bobby Archer, and he's in a dangerous spot. He's taking those tires off the wall on the left.
He can get out of there, but the problem will be, can they move those tires back, or will they be forced to actually bring out another full course yellow, which is very late in the race. Look at that, he's done some heavy damage in under that bodywork because we saw some fluid from the radiator, which hopefully now he will not distribute all over the racing line. I don't think he will, though. I didn't see it come out as he drove away.
You're watching the battle for 7th place. Number 74 is George Robinson from Texas. And there is number 25, symbolic of the 25th anniversary of the Chevrolet Camaro, the Hot Wheels Chevy of Jack Baldwin from Marietta, Georgia.
We just spoke about Jack Baldwin. We said we hadn't seen him all afternoon here. He hasn't had the best of weekends. He's had some engine problems. This is a new deal he has with Hot Wheels as his sponsor this year. Worked very hard to put this whole program together. But now he's a teammate of Scott Sharp, but hasn't had the type of weekend that Jack really deserves or needs or wants.
Jack Baldwin, former Rookie of the Year. What a great team. He's driving a car sponsored by Mattel Toys. His teammate Scott Sharp's driving a car sponsored by Duracell Batteries. A match made in marketing heaven. There's a look at George Robinson, 32 years old, from Texas, where he owns the 74 Hunting Ranch. That's the sponsorship on his car, hence the number 74 on it. The gap now down to 1.9 seconds from Robbie Gordon to Scott Sharp. Robinson running 7th, Jack Baldwin 8th. Got battles all the way around the racetrack. We'll take a quick timeout and return as the lead continues to dwindle. Robbie Gordon over Scott Sharp with Paul Gentilozzi, Ron Fellows, and Les Lindley. Plenty more still to come along Long Beach, California. Stay with us.
Popular Mechanics presents NASCAR action that's neck and neck to the finish line with the hottest video twin pack in stock car history. Popular Mechanics presents all-time greatest stock car finishes. Plus, NASCAR champion Bill Elliott's racing to victory, our video duke out of tire burning, fender banging, door handle to door handle excitement. Bill Elliott's Racing to Victory takes you behind the scenes as $1 Million Bill leads his high-tech team from machine shop to victory lane.
I guess I like things that go fast.
But is it fast enough to beat the all-time greatest stock car finishes? Start with Junior Johnson, Darrell Waltrip, Richard Petty, and the greatest drivers in their all-time greatest races.
Made it exciting for the fans, made it pretty exciting for the drivers.
To order Popular Mechanics all-time greatest stock car finishes, plus Bill Elliott's Racing to Victory, just call the number on your screen or send check or money order for $29.95 to this address. Put yourself in the driver's seat. Call now. It doesn't get any faster than this.
Okay, on the left. That's it. Smile. You're all related now. I know it's scary.
Aren't you glad you used dial?
Hold it. No, don't go anywhere.
Don't you wish everybody did?
Take the picture.
Deion Sanders sparks the Braves. Barry Bonds powers the Pirates. Live on ESPN Wednesday Night Baseball.
Back at Long Beach, Scott Sharp down to the inside on the left against Robbie Gordon. We have a change in the lead in the waning lap. So the Sports Car Club of America tied Trans Am Tour opener, but Robbie Gordon is right there. He's going to want to
very brave down the inside. We saw him do it earlier on. Now look what happened here. Both cars are stalled.
There was an oil flag. There was an oil flag at the beginning of the turn.
Now look what happened here. Scott Sharp cannot make the turn. Ron Fellow slides through. Les Lindley slides through. Tommy Archer slides through. What a brave move, but I'm not sure he should have made that move because the oil flag was clearly being displayed.
What a disaster for Scott Sharp. He got nudged out to the wall. The radius of his turn widened out, and he just couldn't get it done. He gave him at least 3 places.
Very aggressive move by Robbie Gordon, but I'm sure this will be argued well after the checkered flag flies here, because I'm not sure he's allowed to make that move when the yellow and red oil flag is flying. Now remember, he didn't see that necessarily, although he should have. It's the driver's responsibility, but he shot down the inside. There's the flag. It's still out. I'm not sure he's allowed to make that move. But Robbie Gordon on the road is leading. He has a huge gap now.
And you can bet Scott Sharp is a very angry driver right now. He has just a couple of laps left before the checkered flag to try to get it done. There goes your leader, Robbie Gordon. Paul Gentilozzi runs second. Ron Fellows third, then Les Lindley, Scott Sharp, Tommy Archer, George Robinson, Jack Baldwin, Greg Pickett, and Wayne Akers moves up into the top 10.
And you can be sure that Scott Sharp is livid with what just happened. He drove a perfectly controlled race, knew exactly what he was doing, slowly inched his way, closed down on Robbie Gordon, made the pass, and then it all fell apart.
We are told that that was a legal pass despite the presence of the flag. Robbie Gordon has his lead. Right now, let's take a look back at what happened to Bobby Archer. We saw him limping around with fluid coming out under the front wheels. He got it up to speed, and look what happened.
This is it here. Fluid coming down onto those front tires gives him no grip, and he plants it straight into the wall.
One more look at Robbie Gordon, who has an IndyCar career ahead of him. He also drove at the Daytona 500, got up to 5th this year before mechanical problems sidelined him.
Now, he will get away with that pass because the oil flag, in fact, is only a warning flag. It's not a yellow or a waved yellow danger flag, which constitute a no passing area. So I'm even learning, getting a little brush up on the rules here as we go along. But a very brave move. However, I bet you Scott Sharp and he has some words afterwards.
There's the number 6 car, Greg Pickett, who we saw earlier lose the fluid out of his power steering system. He's been trying to muscle that 2,500-pound car. He was 9th when he went off.
Now this is what happened at the lead. See, they come down to the hairpin. Now look, neither car can go anywhere. Robbie Gordon is almost stalled, but look what he did to Scott Sharp. He left him no way to make the turn. I think these two boys are going to argue about this afterwards. However, he's aggressive and he's leading.
We are on the last lap. Greg Pickett cannot be moved. Robbie Gordon in his Trans Am debut is about to sweep the table, barring any incident in the next half lap. He came out. He and Scott Sharp traded the top position in the time charts in each of the practice sessions. But Robbie Gordon took the pole and has led most of this race en route to a debut victory. Quite an afternoon.
We've seen him be very aggressive in the past. He's had words with people in the past. But you know, talented, new, young rising stars have a habit of getting into controversial situations. They've also got a habit of winning and going on to be major stars. I think we're watching another one on his way to just sticking that experience under his belt.
One last flourish there, skidding the rear end out. And down to the checkered flag comes Robbie Gordon. A terrific drive, great battle with another future star, Scott Sharp. Robbie Gordon, your winner today. Scott Sharp comes home behind Ron Fellows in fourth position. Paul Gentilozzi second. Margin of victory unofficially 4.77 seconds. There's a look from Ron Fellows' car. We'll be back to meet our winner and sum things up from Long Beach when we return to the SCCA Tide Trans Am Tour season opener.
There's a place where the home team always wins, where fashion models cling to ordinary guys, and ordinary guys really know how to dance.
Why can't life be like beer commercials? Why? Ask why. Try Bud Dry. It's dry brewed, not watered down, to drink light yet satisfied completely. Because when all the world's a stage, your refreshment should be real.
Don't wait for this kind of excitement. Get Auto Week. Don't wait for racing news. Get Auto Week. Call 1-800-354-3800 for a full year of Auto Week at the special TV price of $19.95, just 38 cents an issue. Stop waiting. Do it now. Call 1-800-354-3800 for the News Weekly of Motoring.
I'm Chris Fowler. Tonight on SportsCenter, the Clippers and Jazz seesaw in a Game 5 classic. The Reds are red-faced after a Buck barrage. And the Hawks and Wings play old-time hockey, eh? Join Jim Bergamo and me at 11:30 Pacific.
ESPN Speed World coverage of the Tide Trans Am Tour from Long Beach, California has been brought to you by Kenwood for the ultimate listening experience in your home or car. And by Budweiser, the king of beers. With that clean, crisp, cold taste, nothing beats a Bud. With a dramatic late race pass under the oil flag, Robbie Gordon from Orange, California has won in his Tide Trans Am Tour debut. He's standing by now with Chris McClure.
As he climbed out of the car, he said, man, that's racing. What about that final pass?
You know, Scott's car was making pretty good power today. He got by me down the back straightaway and outbroke me into the turn 5. In turn 7, I was right back on him, and I came around the outside of the sweeper, which would be 6, went inside on 7, and there was oil, so we just kind of slid through the oil, and we never touched or anything, and he couldn't make the corner. I think he got in the oil also and just couldn't make the corner. He had to stick in reverse and back up.
Just about a perfect weekend for you.
Just about a perfect weekend. The Whistler Mustang was just running great. Jack Roush, Norm, Ray, the whole crew, they just did a great job. What more could you ask for?
All right, thank you, Chris. Congratulations to Robbie Gordon. Here's a look at our final results. Gordon sweeping the table. Pole and victory here at the Trans Am season opener. Paul Gentilozzi comes home second, followed by Canadian Ron Fellows. Scott Sharp, the defending series champion. Tommy Archer brings the new Dodge Daytona home where he started it in 5th place. Les Lindley comes home in 6th, followed by Scott Sharp's teammate Jack Baldwin, George Robinson, Wayne Akers in 9th, and Randy Ruhlman comes home 10th. Here's a look at the rest of our finishers. Jim Durhog, the all-time leader in starts, finishes 11th, followed by Michael Dingman, Steve Anderson, Greg Pickett, and Glenn Fox. 16 through 20, Andy Porterfield, Courtney Smith, John Anderson, Bobby Archer, and Bob Patch. 21 through 25, Stuart Hayner, Walter Payton, Jerry Clinton, Deborah Gregg, and Mike Downs. And our final three finishers, Skip Panzarella, Wally Owens, and Richard Valentine. There is a look at Scott Sharp's car, parked forlornly near Victory Lane.
Near Victory Lane. That is the problem, that little word near.
Chris McClure has caught up with Scott Sharp.
Well, Bob, we tracked down Scott Sharp here near the Trans Am paddock, already out of his driver's suit, as you can see. Obviously, the critical moment of the race. Your perspective?
Well, Robbie put a pretty good move on me. I got to hand it to him. Usually, you can't even get down in there on your own on the inside and be able to make it around the corner. And when he went down underneath me, I knew it was going to be hard for me to make the corner, and he rode me a little wide. And once I was faced with that, I was either hit the wall with the front of the car or put it in reverse, and I didn't need to blow out my power steering or something doing that, so I just chose to put it in reverse, and unfortunately, a few guys got by me.
He said you two never really came together. Is that correct?
Oh, I don't know. We never touched. So
fair racing maneuver, you think?
I guess, yeah, it falls under the fair category.
Well put, Scott. Here are our point standings after one race. Robbie Gordon leads Paul Gentilozzi, but neither of those drivers is set to run the complete Tide Trans Am season. Therefore, the battle for the championship will go on between series regulars Ron Fellows, Scott Sharp, and Tommy Archer. In the manufacturers' battle after one event, Ford, by virtue of Robbie Gordon's victory, leads Chevrolet and Dodge. The first battle in the season-long war between America's big three manufacturers has gone to Ford. I'm Bob Varsha for Derek Daly and Chris McClure. Thanks for being with us. Robbie Gordon wins in his Trans Am debut. So long for now from Long Beach, California.